Hello cherished friends, and welcome back to Wellness Hub Seniors. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on a silent saboteur lurking in plain sight. Your very own refrigerator. What if the appliance you trust to keep your food fresh is, in fact, subtly undermining your health, day after day? It sounds unbelievable, doesn't it? But nestled within that cold, unassuming box are 9 incredibly common foods that react negatively to refrigeration in ways most seniors have simply never been told. This isn't just about a slight tweak in taste or a minor change in texture. We're talking about profound and dangerous chemical transformations, significant nutrient depletion, and even the accelerated growth of harmful bacteria, all triggered by the chilly confines of your fridge. And here is the truly alarming part. Over 99% of people over 60 are still routinely refrigerating these items, completely unaware of the silent damage they're inflicting upon their precious gut health, their vital heart function, and even their cognitive sharpness. Some forward-thinking experts are now beginning to suggest that our modern, unwavering obsession with refrigeration might actually be inadvertently contributing to the escalating rates of chronic illnesses we see today. But fear not. Today we're not just raising alarms, we're uncovering the undeniable, peer-reviewed science. In this transformative video, we will meticulously reveal the 9 specific foods you should absolutely never refrigerate, and more importantly, the surprisingly simple, scientifically proven methods for storing these foods safely and optimally. And trust me, you'll want to stay until the very end, especially when we get to number 2 on our list. It's a revelation that might truly shock you to your core. Every single claim we make is meticulously backed by robust, peer-reviewed studies, with links to all our sources conveniently provided in the description below. Before we embark on this eye-opening journey, we'd love to connect with you. Please share in the comments below. Where are you watching from? What's your age? And have you personally noticed any strange or undesirable changes in the taste or texture of certain items after refrigerating them? We read and thoughtfully reply to every single comment, often offering personalized tips and advice tailored just for you. And if you find this information as vital as we do, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for a continuous stream of empowering content designed for your golden years. Now, without any further ado, let's pull back the refrigerator door and get started. Number 9, potatoes. The cold truth about a common staple here. It's a revelation that might genuinely make you reconsider your kitchen habits. When you place potatoes in your refrigerator, you are quite literally initiating the creation of a toxic compound. I am not exaggerating this. The very cold temperatures inside your fridge force a chemical conversion of the potato as natural starches into sugars. That's a 3-fold increase, and it happens far more rapidly than most people imagine. The researchers meticulously tested over 500 potato samples across various varieties, and the results were consistently alarming. This process is scientifically known as cold-induced sweetening. This isn't merely about altering the taste. It has profound implications. When these unnaturally sweetened, refrigerated potatoes are subsequently cooked at high temperatures, think your beloved roasted potatoes or crispy fries, those newly formed sugars combine with amino acids to form a highly concerning substance called acrylamide. The International Agency for Research on Cancer has officially classified acrylamide as a probable human carcinogen. A compelling study from the University of Idaho provided stark evidence, finding that potatoes stored at refrigerator temperatures exhibited a staggering 300% increase in sugar content within just 2 short weeks. Beyond the chemical transformation, the texture of your potatoes also suffers. Cold temperatures violently break down the delicate cell structure, rendering your once fluffy potatoes into a gritty, unpleasantly sweet, and mealy mess. Ever wondered why your mashed potatoes sometimes taste oddly off, despite your perfect recipe? Now you know. Your refrigerator is silently destroying them at a cellular level, compromising their integrity and potentially creating harmful byproducts. So, how should you truly store potatoes to preserve their natural goodness and safety? The ideal environment is a cool, dark place, with temperatures hovering around 45 to 50 degrees Fahrenheit. A pantry, a dedicated cellar, or even a simple cardboard box tucked away in a closet works perfectly. The absolute key here is darkness. Light, even indirect, triggers the production of solanine, that greenish tint that makes potatoes bitter and, yes, toxic in larger quantities. Always store them in a paper bag or an open basket that allows for proper air circulation. Never, ever use plastic bags, as they trap moisture, creating a breeding ground for rapid rotting and Here is a crucial pro tip that most home cooks and seniors overlook. Always store your potatoes far away from onions. Both vegetables are natural gas emitters, releasing compounds that significantly accelerate the spoilage of the other. Keep them at least 3 feet apart to maximize their shelf life. With proper, non-refrigerated storage, your potatoes can comfortably last for up to 3 months. In the fridge, they'll be compromised and potentially harmful in just 2 weeks. Number 8. Bread, the refrigerator's crusty conundrum. This next revelation surprises nearly everyone, because it goes against conventional wisdom. Your refrigerator is actually designed to make your bread go stale faster. It sounds counterintuitive, perhaps even backward, but the underlying science is unequivocally clear. Refrigeration dramatically accelerates the process of starch retrogradation. That's a fancy, scientific term for when the starch molecules within the bread rapidly crystallize and forcefully push out moisture, transforming soft, pliable bread into a hardened, crumbly mess. Researchers at the prestigious Institute of Food Technologists made a startling discovery. Bread stored at refrigerated temperatures stales a shocking 6 times faster than bread kept at comfortable room temperature. 6 times. They precisely measured the firmness of breadcrumbs over time and found that refrigerated bread became unappetizingly hard and crumbly in a mere 3 days, while room temperature bread maintained its delightful freshness for a full week. Those volatile organic compounds, the very essence that gives freshly baked bread its intoxicating aroma and complex taste, break down rapidly and unevenly in the cold. Your taste buds are not deceiving you when refrigerated bread takes on a bland, uninspiring, cardboard-like quality. Beyond the texture, the biting cold temperatures also mercilessly destroy the bread's natural, delicate flavor compounds. So, what's the optimal way to preserve that wholesome goodness? The best method for storing bread is in a bread box or a breathable paper bag at room temperature. The container should allow for some air circulation to cleverly prevent mold growth, while simultaneously maintaining enough humidity to keep the bread wonderfully soft and pliable. If you find you can't possibly finish an entire loaf within a week, here's the perfect solution. First, slice it, then freeze it. Freezing actually preserves bread far more effectively than refrigeration, because the rapid drop in temperature prevents ice crystals from forming and damaging the delicate cellular structure. When you crave a slice, simply pop the frozen bread directly into the toaster. It will emerge almost as gloriously fresh as it was on day one. The key is that immediate transition from freezer to toaster. Do not let it thaw first, as that's when moisture problems and staleness begin. Number 7. Honey. Nature's eternal sweetness ruined by cold honey. In its purest form, is arguably nature's most perfect and enduring food. It literally never spoiled. Archaeologists have unearthed 3,000-year-old honey from ancient Egyptian tombs that remained remarkably edible, a testament to its incredible longevity. Yet, introduce this timeless treasure to your refrigerator, and you will effectively ruin it in mere weeks. These are the very compounds that bestow honey with its remarkable natural antibiotic capabilities, properties revered by ancient civilizations for treating wounds. Your refrigerator, in essence, is actively dismantling these powerful health benefits. Cold temperatures cause honey to crystallize rapidly and irreversibly. While this process isn't dangerous for consumption, it fundamentally alters every aspect of the honey's beloved characteristics. The smooth, glistening golden liquid transforms into a grainy, unyielding, hard mass that frustratingly refuses to dissolve properly in your tea or on your toast. Cold storage causes these delicate compounds to break down unevenly, resulting in your expensive, raw honey tragically tasting like an insipid, cheap sherbet syrup. More critically, refrigeration inadvertently introduces a hidden enemy. The ideal temperature range is between 64 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Always keep it away from direct sunlight, which can degrade its precious quality. If your honey does happen to crystallize, a natural occurrence, not a sign of spoilage, do not despair and certainly don't discard it. Simply place the sealed jar in a bowl of warm water and stir gently. It will gracefully return to its liquid form without any loss of its beneficial properties. Every time you open that cold jar, condensation inevitably forms inside. That accumulated moisture is honey's absolute nemesis. A significant study from the National Honey Board uncovered a troubling fact. Honey stored at temperatures below 50 degrees Fahrenheit can lose up to 35% of its invaluable antimicrobial properties. The intricate flavor profile also suffers dramatically. Honey boasts over 180 distinct compounds that contribute to its complex and nuanced taste. The proper way to honor and preserve honey's natural perfection is to store it at room temperature in a tightly sealed container. Here is a lesser-known fact for true honey connoisseurs. The color of honey often indicates its antioxidant content, with darker honeys generally possessing more of these beneficial compounds. However, refrigeration disproportionately affects darker honey more severely than lighter varieties, making those precious aged-fighting antioxidants particularly vulnerable to the cold. Number 6. Coffee. The refrigerator's flavor thief. Coffee lovers. This one might be a bitter pill to swallow, but brace yourselves. That expensive, aromatic coffee you're diligently storing in the refrigerator, you are inadvertently destroying it. Your refrigerator is, quite simply, coffee's worst enemy. And here's precisely why. They act like tiny sponges, eagerly absorbing odors and flavors from everything in their immediate vicinity. And what is your refrigerator brimming with? Smells from last night's leftover Chinese food, that forgotten, pungent cheese, and who knows what other aromatic concoctions. Your precious coffee is literally soaking all of it up, resulting in that strangely off taste in your morning brew. However, there's a crucial catch. You can only freeze it once. Divide your coffee into weekly portions. Freeze them in opaque airtight bags, and only remove what you need for that specific week. Never refreeze coffee. The irreparable moisture damage from repeated freezing and thawing will irretrievably ruin its quality. Coffee beans are astonishingly porous, but odor absorption is merely the beginning of the destruction. The container must be opaque, as light as another formidable enemy that rapidly degrades coffee quality. The ideal storage temperature is a stable range between 60 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit, with minimal temperature fluctuations. It is always best to buy coffee in smaller quantities that you can confidently use within 2 weeks. Once you break the seal on a bag, the clock starts ticking. Oxygen is coffee's other primary adversary. While some extreme coffee enthusiasts opt for vacuum-sealed containers, simply buying fresh and using it quickly generally yields superior results. The constant, subtle temperature fluctuations inside your refrigerator create condensation on the beans themselves. This insidious moisture triggers premature aging of the coffee and, even more concerningly, can lead to the insidious growth of mold. A significant study from the Specialty Coffee Association alarmingly found that refrigerated coffee beans can lose a staggering 60% of their aromatic compounds within just 1 week. The vital oils within coffee beans, which are the very essence of their flavor, solidify in cold temperatures. When you grind these cold solidified beans, these essential oils fail to extract properly during the brewing process. What you're left with is a weak, insipid, and utterly flavorless cup of coffee that bears no resemblance to its true potential. The proper, respectful way to store coffee is in an airtight, opaque container at room temperature. If, and only if, you absolutely must store coffee long term, the freezer is surprisingly better than the refrigerator. Number 5. Garlic. Losing potency and growing dangers. Storing garlic in the refrigerator is a silent disaster waiting to happen. Not only does it ruthlessly lose its incredibly important potency, but it can also, surprisingly, become genuinely dangerous. Those pale green shoots aren't just an unsightly aesthetic flaw. They are inherently bitter and can cause uncomfortable digestive upset. Cold temperatures mercilessly break down garlic cell walls, transforming firm, easy-to-chop cloves into a mushy, sticky mess that clings stubbornly to everything. Ever attempted to mince refrigerated garlic? It turns into an unusable paste that makes cooking a frustrating ordeal. Those essential oils, which carry the very essence of its pungency and taste, need to be fluid, not solidified by the cold. Your dishes will possess a noticeably richer and more vibrant flavor with properly stored garlic, but that's not even the most perilous part. The moist, perpetually cold environment of your refrigerator can dangerously trigger the unseen growth of mold on garlic. Some of these insidious molds produce mycotoxins, which are seriously harmful and potentially carcinogenic compounds. Research from the University of California, Davis, chillingly demonstrated that refrigerated garlic can lose a staggering 50% of its allicin content within a mere 10 days. Allicin is the powerhouse compound that endows garlic with its remarkable medicinal properties. Its antibacterial, antiviral, and profoundly beneficial effects for heart health. By refrigerating your garlic, you are literally discarding half of its precious health advantages. Let me illuminate why this particular storage mistake holds significant implications, especially for seniors who often rely on garlic for its myriad, well-documented health benefits. When garlic is subjected to the cold embrace of your refrigerator, it begins to sprout. A simple mesh bag or an open basket works perfectly. The ideal temperature hovers around 60 to 65 degrees Fahrenheit. Crucially, never store garlic in plastic bags or any sealed container. It absolutely needs to breathe. Keep garlic away from direct sunlight, which can prematurely cause it to sprout and become bitter. Also, avoid storing it near your stove, as the ambient heat and humidity from cooking will rapidly accelerate sprouting. With proper storage, a whole, intact head of garlic can astonishingly last for up to 6 months. However, once you break the head open and separate the cloves, aim to use them within 10 days for optimal quality. The texture of garlic also suffers immensely. The correct way to preserve garlic's potent flavor and health benefits is to store it in a cool, dry place with excellent air circulation. Here is a simple tip that will elevate your cooking. Room temperature garlic releases its complex flavors far more readily than cold garlic. Number 4. Onions. The root of refrigeration ruins storing whole onions in the refrigerator might just be one of the most common and damaging kitchen mistakes people make. The cellular damage is immediate, and tragically, it's irreversible. Onions, however, require a much drier environment, ideally 65% humidity or less. That excess moisture penetrates the onion's delicate, papery outer layers and creates the absolute perfect breeding ground for mold growth. And here's where it gets serious. Black mold on onions can actually produce after, which are classified as some of the most potent carcinogenic substances known to science. Cut onions absolutely must be stored in the refrigerator in an airtight container and ideally used within 7 days. The exposed cut surface becomes highly vulnerable to bacterial growth, making refrigeration a necessary evil in this specific instance. But whole onions, never in the fridge. Here's precisely what transpires the moment you shut that refrigerator door on your innocent onions. The humidity level inside your refrigerator typically hovers around a very high 95%. But even before mold makes its unsightly appearance, the cold temperature rapidly converts the onion's natural starches into sugars. A scientific study from Texas University made a compelling finding. Refrigerated onions exhibited an astonishing 270% increase in sugar content after just 2 weeks. The temperature should ideally be between 45 and 55 degrees Fahrenheit. As with potatoes, never, ever store them in plastic bags. Onions desperately need to breathe. A mesh bag, an open basket, or even a pair of clean pantyhose works wonderfully. Importantly, keep onions away from potatoes. As previously mentioned, they release gases that accelerate each other's. Also, shield them from direct sunlight, which can trigger premature sprouting. This fundamental change completely alters their complex flavor profile and, crucially, their cooking properties. Your savory French onion soup, for instance, will end up tasting oddly like dessert. The texture also suffers dramatically, becoming soft and mushy, because ice crystals form within the cells and rupture them. Once this cellular damage occurs, the onion permanently loses its ability to caramelize properly. Those beautiful, deep golden brown, meltingly tender onions you admire in gourmet restaurants, impossible to achieve with refrigerated onions. The correct way to store whole, uncooked onions is in a cool, dry, and exceptionally well-ventilated space. A pantry or a dedicated cellar is ideal. Once you cut an onion, however, everything changes. Number 3. Tomatoes. The genetic sabotage of cold, and now we've reached the food that will undoubtedly shock you the most. The seemingly innocuous tomato. The disturbing truth about refrigerating tomatoes is so profound that many people initially refuse to believe it, but the scientific evidence is utterly undeniable. Researchers at the University of Florida made a truly groundbreaking discovery. They found that refrigeration doesn't merely affect a tomato's texture or taste. It does something far more fundamental. It actually shuts off their genes. Ice crystals form relentlessly between the cell walls, creating microscopic punctures throughout the fruit. Storing them stem side down creates a natural seal that prevents moisture from entering through the stem scar and effectively blocks bacteria from entering. The ideal temperature range is between 55 and 70 degrees Fahrenheit. Keep them out of direct sunlight, but also avoid hiding them in a dark cabinet. They need indirect light to maintain their nutrient integrity. Never store tomatoes in plastic bags. They release ethylene gas that needs to escape. If trapped, this gas dramatically accelerates rot, and a single rotten tomato in a sealed plastic bag can destroy an entire batch within 24 hours. Ripe tomatoes should ideally be used within 3 to 5 days. If you find yourself with an abundance, a far superior alternative is to make sauce and freeze that instead. Cooked tomato products, incidentally, actually have more available lycopene than raw tomato, and freezing the sauce preserves it perfectly. This is precisely why refrigerated tomatoes become unpleasantly mealy, grainy, and watery. Their intricate cellular structure has been shredded from the inside out. Tomatoes are renowned as one of the very best dietary sources of a profoundly powerful antioxidant that offers significant protection against heart disease and certain cancers. Cold storage dramatically reduces lycopene availability by up to 65%, but the impact is even more insidious than a mere percentage loss. Lycopene requires specific enzymes to be properly absorbed and utilized by your body. Refrigeration completely destroys these crucial enzymes, rendering even the remaining 35% of lycopene practically useless for your body's needs. Specifically, it deactivates the very genes responsible for producing the complex array of volatile flavor compounds that define a tomato's deliciousness. Once these vital genes are forced into dormancy by the cold, they never fully recover. Even if you remove the tomato from the fridge and allow it to warm up to room temperature, the genetic damage is permanent. The study meticulously examined over 25,000 genes in tomatoes and found that temperatures below 54 degrees Fahrenheit mercilessly deactivated hundreds of them. The tomato literally ceases to be a tomato at a fundamental genetic level. It transforms into what amounts to a red, watery balloon, tragically devoid of its true nutritional and flavorful essence. Here's where it gets particularly serious for seniors. The texture destruction is equally dramatic and microscopically visible. Therefore, the only proper way to store tomatoes is at room temperature, stem side down. Number avocados, the complete nutritional catastrophe. We have saved the most important, and perhaps most devastating, for last. Avocados. What happens to avocados when they are relegated to the cold abyss of your refrigerator should be, quite frankly, criminal. The destruction inflicted is so complete, so utterly devastating, that it makes all the other foods we've discussed seem like minor issues in comparison. Avocados are nutritional powerhouses, containing over 20 essential nutrients. They are one of the rare fruits that provide abundant healthy fats, specifically oleic acid, which is absolutely crucial for optimal brain health in seniors, supporting memory and cognitive function. Place them in an open bowl on your counter, never in a closed bag. They desperately need air circulation to ripen properly and evenly. A far better strategy is to purchase avocados at different stages of ripeness, so you consistently have perfectly ready ones available. Proper storage preserves those brain-boosting healthy fats, maintains that coveted creamy texture, and keeps all those age-fighting nutrients perfectly intact. Your body, your brain, and your taste buds will unequivocally thank you. If you cut an avocado and can't use the whole thing, here is the ultimate secret. Keep the pit in the unused half and generously brush the exposed flesh with lemon juice. Then, store it in an airtight container with a piece of onion. The sulfur compounds from the onion magically prevent browning without affecting the avocado's taste. This ingenious method can keep cut avocados fresh for up to 2 days at room temperature. To speed up ripening, a simple trick is to place them in a paper bag with a banana. The banana's ethylene gas can effectively cut ripening time in half. But refrigeration, tragically, actively destroys these healthy fats through a process called lipid peroxidation. The cold temperature causes these delicate fats to oxidize rapidly, creating harmful free radicals instead of the beneficial nutrients your body craves. Researchers at Stanford University made a truly alarming discovery. Refrigerated avocados can lose a staggering 90% of their antioxidant activity within just 4 days. Think about that, 90%. These precious antioxidants, including vital vitamins E and C, are what make avocados so incredibly valuable for aging bodies. It triggers an enzyme that actively and aggressively destroys the fruit from within. This enzyme, polyphenol oxidase, is the very same one that causes browning. But in the cold, it goes into overdrive, relentlessly breaking down cell walls and converting healthy, beneficial compounds into bitter, potentially harmful substances. The texture change is profound and irreversible. Those once smooth, creamy, luscious avocados transform into stringy, watery disappointments. The healthy fats separate from the fiber, creating an unappetizing, oily mess that becomes utterly impossible to mash properly. Your perfectly planned guacamole will be ruined before you even begin. They tirelessly protect against inflammation, support crucial eye health, and significantly boost nutrient absorption from other foods you consume. But here is the truly shocking and insidious part. The cold temperature does not just halt the ripening process. The correct way to nurture your avocados is to store unripe ones at room temperature, ideally between 65 and 75 degrees Fahrenheit. Once ripe avocados can be refrigerated for a maximum of 2 to 3 days if absolutely necessary, but be aware that the quality loss will still be significant. The difference between a properly stored avocado and a refrigerated one is like night and day. The truth about refrigeration and its impact on these common foods has been hidden for far too long. These 9 foods represent not just thousands of dollars in wasted groceries, but an immeasurable loss of vital nutrition. And have you been refrigerating it for years without realizing the potential damage? Share with us your experiences and honest opinions in the comments below. We absolutely love hearing from you and learning together. Thanks for watching. More importantly, they symbolize missed opportunities for better health, enhanced vitality, and improved quality of life in our golden years. Every single nutrient counts when you're diligently fighting the effects of aging, striving to maintain peak cognitive function, and committed to staying vibrantly healthy. Do not let your refrigerator unwittingly sabotage your efforts. Store these foods properly, embrace their full nutritional power, and reclaim the incredible health benefits they are meant to provide. Your magnificent body deserves nothing less than the absolute best. And now, armed with this knowledge, you know precisely how to provide it. Now, we want to hear directly from you. Which of these foods shocked you the most to learn about its refrigeration woes?